If you're anything like me, you've probably been so busy trying to keep up with new SEO tactics and tactics to get recommended by AI search that you've fallen a little bit behind on one of the coolest things you can use AI for, which is to help automate some of these processes that we're using to rank websites and to make ourselves and our clients more money. I keep seeing these crazy N8N automations or people's 20-step process to do whatever. At a certain point, it just gets so overwhelming that you're not even really sure where to start. So I decided to have Andrew Ansley on to help demystify this process for us and show us exactly what we need to be doing to get started and to do things effectively. Andrew has been neck deep in this stuff and has even made it his priority over SEO these days, and has definitely earned a little bit of the reputation of being the real deal by a lot of people in our industry. And while I do believe that automation should come last over things like the fundamentals or having a solid product or having solid processes, it's something we definitely need to be doing to make sure that we stay competitive, because you can be sure that your competitors are going to be using this stuff as well, whether you run multiple agencies like me or you're just working on your own website or working in-house somewhere. So without any further ado, let's go ahead and jump in with Andrew and get started on how we can start using this incredible technology for our benefit. All right, Andrew, good to see you. How are you doing, sir?
Just swell, man. Doing great. How about you?
I'm good. I'm just laughing because this is obviously a fake intro. We've been chatting before, but for the podcast, just very quickly, let us know what you're going to be teaching us today and why it's important.
Awesome. So for those that haven't met me before, I had a ton of experience in SEO. I had a lot of agency experience, and I switched over to the AI side of things. Got very, very technical. I develop stuff with AI all the time. And I feel like there's this disconnect where people are overwhelmed and they have the wrong understanding of vibe coding, and they're scared of the terminal. The reason why I try to get people into the terminal and try to demystify it for people is all of the complaints I hear about AI, they're fixed by just going to the terminal. Like your context window issues, all these people were coming out with these little wrapper tools that were really just prompt 1 to 50. You can build that in 5 minutes in the terminal. If you have a system where you're like, all right, I want to run through 10 prompts and get an output and save it, you can do that. You can build those little tools. And I'd say that's the biggest thing. That's probably what I'm going to share. And then I'll cover a little bit of some slightly more advanced stuff. I am not going to blow up your brains, because you can make full autonomous coding machines. You can arm these little bots with tools to do anything you want, make full workers. The beginning of all of this is just demystify the terminal, understand little short codes. It's all almost the exact same experience as Claude Desktop, just looks a little different.
Thank you for not blowing up our brains too much. So if I understand this correctly, we're going to be using Terminal to do some automation.
Yeah, it's really to prompt. We're going to do a normal, as you would use ChatGPT, but we're going to do that inside of the terminal.
Awesome. Sounds good. Let's go ahead and dive in.
So first off, all I have to do is we're going to just do a new folder, Chris. If you haven't already, just Google VS Code and then download it. VS Code is created by Microsoft. It is an open source project. It is just a way to operate the terminal. That is it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do new window. So anytime you start up whatever it is, you always see this screen here. There's a couple different things on the side here. You might see this too. So at the top right, you can enable or disable this little sidebar.
I've used VS Code a little bit before, but just to confirm, it is completely free, right?
VS Code is fully free. It doesn't even have a paid option.
Awesome.
Just like with WordPress, with its extensions and plugins, there is an extension called Klein. And if you go with VS Code and you want a sidebar AI helper, you would just simply download Klein. I would click it, and you just hit install, and then it installs, and then I see it on the side here. Now it's literally, I could drag this, and is this like ChatGPT? And now I can just, message or whatever. Tells me my context window. It's actually like, now it's actually going into my browser to check. It's funny because it's like, am I ChatGPT? I don't know. You can approve or reject it.
And you've got this hooked up with like your OpenAI API key or whatever.
Yeah, that's literally it. So that's just showing you that you have a little sidebar. Now, this is the thing that I think that most people don't even understand. You know that folder I just created? That's all that we did. That's all that this whole entire terminal, everything that we're doing, it's just opening folders on your computer. So I'm going to open that, and you'll see that it's empty. There's nothing over here because I've done no files. I haven't created anything. If I were to new folder, demo to Chris. Hey, look, demo. So that's all we're doing. That's the biggest piece. Now that you know that, the only difference here is instead of a SaaS where you can, there has to be a button and you're like hitting things, we are just simply using our words to create actions. So moving a folder around, we can do that. If you wanted to know the basics of coding, M is short for move. That's it. And then all you have to do is have the file path. That's the extent of like the kind of technical information you need. All right, so now that we've done that, let's actually get into this. I have to open my terminal, which is the top right. So now I have my terminal. I don't have access to AI yet. And there's a couple things I need to do in order to get access. So I'm going to show you. We need to install a couple packages. And we can either install it from the internet or from the terminal. It can just access those packages from the terminal without going anywhere. I'm a big proponent of Claude Code. That's what I'm going to teach you guys to use. It's the best out there. All I need to do to download Claude Code is this. And it says npm install. I'm going to show you this real quick just so you see it fail. So I'm going to paste it and shoot. I have the stuff installed, so it's just going to install automatically. So that's a little bit wrong. Oops. If you tried to do this, it would say it doesn't work. And that's because npm requires node. So let me click node. And it's going to say, you just need to download this. Now, here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go here and say, new chat, I haven't coded anything ever. I am so dumb with this.
This is how I talk to AI, by the way.
Yeah, I'm not even kidding. This is how I started. I want to get started in VS Code. I want to download Claude Code. It told me I needed Node or something. What is that? And how do I do that? I am on a Mac computer. That's important. It is different based on the computer you're using.
Gotcha. So basically, any hiccups you have in the setup process, just ask AI, and it'll pretty much get us through
Yeah,
this
super
alive.
fast. I just keep it on the side here, and then I'm just going. Don't worry at all. Everyone starts somewhere. Exactly. It's basically a tool that lets your computer run JavaScript. So when you hear JavaScript and Python and all this stuff, it's just libraries, and you can install them with like 3 short commands. And then once you have it, you're able to write those things. So super simple. Now, you can install it by visiting, or I can run a command. Let's do this. Let's say I just want to type in the terminal. What command do I use? I meant for node. How do I install it with a command? This should do it. Okay, homebrew. That is the correct answer. So I didn't want to just give you the answer here. The point is to show you like this is normal. So first install homebrew. I don't know why it's saying this. Macs just have it, but if you don't have it, you would just copy this and you'd paste it in here, hit enter. Then you would copy this, paste it in, hit enter. That's it. Once you have it installed, you're good to go. And then we can literally just download Claude Code.
So just to recap really quick, we've got Homebrew, Node, and then Claude Code. Are those the 3 things that we've got now?
Yeah. Homebrew is just a way to download things. Okay. And then Node is a specific package to download. Mm-hmm. And Claude has its own command to download.
Okay. And we were basically just getting our VS Code set up with plugins, essentially, so that it can do everything we want it to be able to do.
Yeah. That's basically it. So, okay, great. It even gave me the command. So I would do that command, npm install. It works. It'll say change packages. 2 packages are looking for funding. Great. Whatever. Now, this is the magic. That was it. That's all you need to do. That was all of the coding that you need. And now we're vibe coding.
Nice.
So now here is the difference. I'm no longer in a terminal. This is no different than me operating inside of Claude. Write me a haiku about donuts.
So, okay, you're in Claude Code. Does Claude Code connect to Claude API to do this?
So when you first get started, though, it's going to ask you other questions like your preferences for the color of stuff. It'll ask you to log in or whether you want to use an API. Mm-hmm. I recommend you can actually code using your normal subscription. So super nice.
Okay, that's good.
Now if you really get into this, deep into this, and you start really using this for everything, the best deal out there for coding is going to be the $200 a month plan, which is the one I use, and you nearly get unlimited use. It's really, really powerful.
Gotcha. Now that we're set up, what are some basic, simple SEO tasks that we could try to automate that would, benefit us on our day-to-day kind of SEO work? So the first thing that Andrew's going to show us how to do is to create landing pages using AI automation as well as entire websites, which is actually a little more complicated than some of the easier stuff you could do. Doing single landing pages could definitely be a big shortcut, especially if you just had something sale or you had an offer, a page that you're running ads to. You can make one extremely quickly that's well optimized for SEO. However, for most people, I think making an entire website using this kind of automation might be a little too complicated for the very beginning. However, if you think you are smart enough, you could definitely dive right into the deep end and get started that way.
So one thing is you can immediately now just work in here just as you normally would, where you're like, hey, create a landing page for an SEO website and here's my information. So for instance, I have a specific way of creating ICPs. So I'm going to just grab my ICP, which is in a project. This is context for who I am and who my customers are. I'm gonna grab that. So now I can either create a new file or create a folder. If I wanna create a separate folder from demo, I just do this. So I'm gonna do website and I'm gonna do ICP.md. You always wanna declare dot file type. For the most part, all you're going to need to do is a .md, .json, that kind of thing. You could do .txt as well, but I'm just going to paste this in here. I'm going to go up here and hit save. Now we need, because I don't want to download all these like Next.js. If you want like lovable type websites, all it is you download Next.js. That's it. And then you can immediately start doing it. But for the purpose of illustration, we need an HTML, CSS, JavaScript homepage for my brand. The context for this is all here. So now I'm just going to paste it in and it knows to read that, read it, and then create the HTML page using best practices.
It's crazy. So basically install 3 things and then you have a little document telling about who you are and who your clients are. And now with one sentence, we're going to prompt it to create our homepage.
Yep. And not only that, I just wanted to keep it simple. You could create your whole website. So I'll show you an example where I deployed it. I had AI create all of this. I gave it no other commands other than the brand, and then it created all of it. Now it's even live. Services, show prices, great. And there's little things that are off about it, but hey, I haven't edited anything.
Did it one-shot this? Oh, wow.
Well, I have it agentically working. So technically what it did is it looped over itself 3 times. So it created all the pages in one shot, and then it looped again to edit the page and looped again to edit the page.
Gotcha. Cool. It's editing itself.
So it's going to give us little options. So while it's working, I'm going to show you this. This, you can open multiple terminals, and now it's like multiple tabs. I'm going to hit Claude again, and I can work in this one while that one's working if I want. So I'm going to show you the next best thing for SEOs, or for anybody really. The / command has a ton of different things that you can do. You can install MCPs here. You can edit Claude's memory files about you and about your project. Output style allows you to change how you do outputs. So if you're first starting out, you can change your output style to explanatory. And all that does is Claude explains its implementation choices and the code base patterns. You'll get more detail. If you want a learning mode, then it'll even quiz you as it goes and say, hey, you try writing this small piece of code for hands-on practice.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
That's a custom one that I've added into here. Gen UI is going to be, this is really cool. I'll do this and I'll say, write an beginner's guide to Claude code. It should include everything from setup to usage, commands, and advanced features. All right, watch this. Because I've set this style now. You can set your style and you could do JSON style. A good one for SEOs is I do semantic HTML. So this is the crazy, crazy benefit you're going to get. So you know how normal web builders, you're kind of stuck with the kind of code formatting that they give you? Well, here, you're not stuck at all. I can now adjust the very code structure easily, use it, and I just predefine semantic HTML. And now as it creates content, instead of just button ID 01965, it'll be take the next step button, and here's the exact thing. So you end up getting so many more keywords in context, and it really helps for rankings because now you've kind of cleaned up all of the randomness of your code, and now it is all serving the same purpose, which is maximum semantic understanding for search engines. That's probably the biggest thing here, is that semantic SEO is so important. And now you have the ability to actually code semantically.
So full transparency, semantic coding is not something I've ever done for SEO, and I am not sure at how effective it is at giving you better rankings. Google says that it's not a direct ranking factor. However, we do not trust Google because we are good SEOs and we like to do our own testing. Of course, there's a lot of people throwing around the correlation is not equal to causation line. And then, of course, some people seeing good benefits from doing it. Anyways, it's something I'm definitely going to be looking into more myself. But at this point, it's kind of a why not do it if you can automate it. Anything that we can do to make AI and Google better understand our website and to get more of these closely related concepts into the code itself of our website definitely seems like a good thing to me. But I definitely want to look into it a bit more as well.
All right, so now I'm just going to, it created this thing. So I'm going to click over, still creating. Okay, I'll create a professional homepage. Look how much it's working though. The fact that we can literally just like go off and do stuff and then it just keeps going. And I haven't even gotten to the crazy part. So like, let's do another one. While those are working, I'm going to show you agents. They have predefined templates for creating agents. Now, I've done SEO technical evaluator. So let me just hit enter. I've created that one already. Otherwise, you can create a new agent, but I'll hit enter. Let's view that agent. And here is that agent. It is right here. Use this agent when you need to evaluate technical SEO implementation, including meta tags, sitemaps, schema, AI crawler optimization. It should be used proactively for SEO audits, technical reviews, search optimization assessments, or when checking if a website is properly configured for search engine visibility, blah, blah, blah. It gives some examples. You can write your own like version of what you want, and Claude structures it like this afterwards. Now it colored it purple. The model it's going to use is Sonnet. It has access to all the tools, so it could read, write, access the web, all that stuff. The system prompt, this is no different, guys, than what a lot of people have already done. It's just, here's what you're going to do. Here's our scoring. You're going to do all this stuff. So now I can use this agent on that landing page I just made. So now I'm going to say, use the SEO technical agent to evaluate the landing page here. I'm going to copy path, highlight them all, and it can go to town. Now let's say you created a bunch of agents. You have a UI agent, you have a SEO agent, you have a CRO agent. You could just say, use the SEO and CRO agent to simultaneously analyze this landing page. And boom, 3 agents simultaneously are now working.
How hard is it to create these agents?
As easy as it is to create system text for anything that you've ever done with AI.
So the technical SEO agent that you have running right now, you had said basically you created it before.
You got to know your industry. If you know your own SOPs, just describe it. That's it. If you don't know your own SOPs and you just want to like guess, it'll still do pretty good. But the thing where people get this wrong is they keep everything too abstract. I like to define my stuff. What is good SEO? What is an SEO expert? Don't do that. You got to say meta tags are this, and here's what we do. You got to say titles are this. Here's a good title. All these things. Just be a good procedure sort of person, and then have it transform it.
Gotcha. So would you take your SOP, like your plain English SOP, come into Terminal here, and then tell Claude Code to create an agent for you?
That's exactly right.
Okay.
So here's exactly what you do. Claude, agent, create new agent. If you want it just for this folder, you do the first one for project. If you want it across all instances, you do personal. So I'm going to do project. You could say manual config, you get full control, or generate with Claude. And now you just paste your SOP. That's it.
Nice.
And then it creates it. So I'm going to trash this terminal. And now what I want to show you is right click. I want to reveal this HTML it created in my Finder. And now I'm going to open it with Chrome. And here's the page it created.
That's awesome. Looks better than my website.
Looks better than a lot of people's website. Yeah, it has like all this stuff. And it's a great starting point. It's absolutely great. And then the thing that I said earlier when I said, hey, use that GenUI output format. Well, it automatically opens this file. And now, introduction. Okay, so what is Claude Code? Here's how I install it. Here are the commands to run via Homebrew Mac.
It's very good layout.
Gives it all to me. Yeah, it's a great layout. It has the whole thing here for me. And then I can copy this. And I have a whole guide here. Imagine these SOPs. It's insane. Great. It just opened another one because my agent did that analysis. Okay, so Here's the detailed analysis. And now I need it. I forgot that I still have output mode as this. So that's why it's doing it like this rather than doing it in the normal way. But I would just say, okay, implement these changes. And then now your schema markup, your technical files, your image optimization, all of it would just be like done. So really incredible.
Nice. So far we've basically installed 3 plugins to VS Code. We've created a one-page website. Then we've copy and pasted our SOPs into Claude Code and told it to make agents for us. Then we can send these agents out onto the little website we've created and they'll optimize it as far as we want it to be optimized for SEO.
Yes, that is exactly right.
What if, for example, I think most people watching this, they probably don't have a website that was created like this, like with code. They probably have WordPress websites. Is there any way that we can use the same functionality for websites like that?
Yeah. So I would do output style. I'm going to make sure I'm still on this one. And then I'm going to say, I want to use Claude Code to create a WordPress website. I need a guide from scratch so I can code it in my local terminal. Things do I need to install and what should I be aware of? I am a total noob and you need to hold my hand through this process. I literally just do this. So the only other thing now, that's HTML. If you're doing WordPress, it's just that you need to be able to work on PHP. If it's Next.js, the same thing as just JavaScript. If you want Python, you got to install Python. But now that we have Claude, what is the terminal command to install Python? Okay, brew install Python 3. All right, so here is the complete WordPress development guide. So here is the recommended stuff you need. We need the following: easiest, alternative, advanced. So choose the free version, install it, open it, click start servers. So you just follow this and that's all you need to do. I think that's going to be a little bit complicated for people. So let's do, what about just the packages I need to download on a fresh VS Code? Can't I just get started here on making the actual files?
Essential extensions. These are more things we need to install into VS Code, like the 3 that we did before.
Typically, yeah, it might already have some of this stuff installed, so I'm not exactly sure what I've installed, what I haven't, but you're always just asking. The point is that once you have the terminal open, you're really just asking it questions from then on out. And if you want to mess with its settings, you just create a file called settings.json, and those are the settings. So if you want to limit it on what it can do, hey, you need my permission before you do stuff. Well, you do a settings.json file. I think it's important to really quick just show where to go for full advice. I highly recommend you search for Claude Code SDK, and you're just going to read this and make sure that you follow along. And that's it. It's going to help you with everything. Here's the quick start. Tells you all the stuff you need to know. Common workflows. All of that's here. If you want to download this and then have all of it just in your project, I could literally just do view as markdown and download this file. So that's the other thing is, if this is how you do APIs to stuff, go to the documentation, download the file, have a folder called APIs, and now it can reference it and build out anything you want. So this is what's really impressive, is that anything, I don't know, it's like Google Drive or Gmail. You want to build a tool that just accesses stuff. It's so easy to build a locally hosted version that just runs on your computer. It gets more complicated when you're trying to have users, because then there's a lot of security and safety stuff. But this is actually rather easy. And so much of this is all about just, I want a little shortcut or hack for myself. So I only installed Node. Do I need any other packages installed? So here we go. We already have it. And now we can just put all of them together and it will install all of those things. And now you start the services. So sometimes it needs to start. You'll run into a couple headaches like Python. You'll run into things where, okay, what is a virtual environment? Just understand that you'll ask questions and you'll figure it out. This just tells you what to do. And now, no different. I would use the same exact prompt. I would just say, we're making a WordPress website, and that's it. The only difference is it's a little bit harder to preview. So when I do HTML like this, I can preview it so easily by just opening it in my browser. So I like to always start by building something in HTML like this.
Gotcha. Cool. Do you think there are any other example you could give us of a shortcut that someone could use on their daily SEO work?
I think to get better, you first just start with, here's what I want. Before doing anything, what's the best way to do it? Or what are like the 3 options and with pros and cons for doing this? That way you understand.
So, okay, you had prompted it to build a scraper to do what here?
I prompted it to build a minimalist scraper to scrape a website and extract the meta description, URLs, and titles. That's all I want. We will then save the files in a local folder.
Awesome.
And what it did, just to explain what's happening, is okay, it wrote the code. Here is the requirements. This tells you what you need to install. Then it tried to install it, but a nuance of Python is you can't just, I don't have it allowed to install the system wide. So then it goes, all right, well, maybe I should get more specific. And then it tried this command, and then it goes, okay, error, we are externally managed with the environment. Okay, so it's going to figure out again, and it goes, finally, I figured it out. We're going to do a virtual environment. And it figured it out on its own. And now you can see it downloading the stuff.
Awesome.
So now done, I've created a minimalist scraper. Let's just do Denver Roofer. Do Mighty Dog. Okay, run the scraper in this URL. Now here's the typical thing. Typically, something will kind of work, and then you'll run into something where a nuance that a coder would understand, like server patterns, where if your scraper is not submitting what kind of bot are you, maybe it'll block that bot. So maybe we need to declare that. Or maybe there's speed issues where it's trying to scrape too quickly. All right, we need to modify our script to basically throttle how fast we're doing stuff. There's like little nuances you run into, and that's part of learning. But my advocation here is that I think vibe coders, if treated the right way, this is the best way to learn. So by building these little tools, you'll get so much better so fast of just, now I just know to prompt in the following way. I'm just going to prompt account for this thing, do this thing. Or let's say you just build an agent that is now like, is aware of all those things, and it's a one-time thing that just now invoke this agent and do this thing. That's what's just really incredible.
Yeah, let's see these scraped results.
Yeah, here's their website. So I notice we don't have meta and title for each URL. Modify script. So you just do that.
Gotcha. And you could get it to output all to like an Excel document or something if you wanted to, or maybe even to your Google Drive.
You would have to connect it, but yeah, so if you wanted it to, like having the terminal access like a CSV or create a CSV, that's another package you download to just be able to operate CSVs. You can connect it. There's MCPs to connect into some of these things. Like an MCP, some of the difference here is just that all of the code is already done for you, and it's as simple as just like new file mcp.json, and that's it. And then you'll paste that code that it tells you in the directions, and your tool will use it. So that's like literally it, mcp.json. And now you can, even without building all the code yourself, with a couple lines, now you have a new superpower to connect to whatever it is. And now if I have an SEO agent that has access to that website, I could rewrite them with best practices of titles and meta descriptions and edit the whole website in a couple minutes.
That is crazy. All right. So basically, just to recap, we started off, we got a VS Code. We downloaded, I think, 3 different things, like basically extensions or plugins, whatever you want to call them. And then from there, we just start typing in the terminal. We can type in the terminal. We can tell it, we want to build a tool that does this, or we want to build a website, or here's my SOP for doing technical SEO. I want to build an agent that can modify, HTML documents along these guidelines. And we're going to run into hiccups along the way. We're going to have issues like we, had when you were doing it. But we can literally just prompt our way out of it. We can keep asking questions. We can ask it, what do we need to download to do this? It'll literally just keep telling us to do. And after we eventually just keep doing what it tells us to do. And then at the end, we're going to have an agent or a tool that's a shortcut for whatever it is that we're trying to accomplish.
That's exactly right.
Then you really just need those 4 things if you include VS Code and those 3 extensions, and then you're good to just start talking to it.
Yeah. The crazy thing is everything you saw, though, is basically skills that everyone already has. If you have the skill to download Slack or something off the internet, bam, VS Code, no problem. If you have the ability, which you already are, I know everyone is, you ask a question to Claude or to whatever LLM, Just follow the directions, copy paste, copy paste. That's it.
Awesome. Yeah, like you said, this stuff we're already kind of doing with AI. It's like, hey, how do I do this? And then we're using it to do something else. But we're literally just taking that same skill or whatever you want to call it that we're using in ChatGPT, and we're moving it into the terminal and the Claude, and we can actually just build stuff right there with it. It looks a little more technical. There's kind of code flying around. There's file names. It looks very hackery. But at the end of the day, yeah, I see this is a pretty cool thing. I think it's kind of inspired me because I've definitely not been vibe coding as much as some of my counterparts. So I think after this, I could actually download VS Code and start getting to some of these little shortcuts myself.
Perfect, man. So I'm glad that I had the intended effect. That's what I wanted. I want to inspire anyone who sees this to go, okay, this is not that bad. I wasn't able to really show you the full power, but like there's no reason to do anything in ChatGPT or in any other LLM. Just stick in the code environment. You can do so much and more. Anything you can dream of, it literally can do. So it's really, really powerful.
Do you actually use the terminal in VS Code as like your LLM? You don't even go to like chatgpt.com?
It is my Google Drive. It is my everything because it has access to all my files. It can access anything it wants. I give it full access. And then I just started coding up tools, screenshot tools, video analysis tools, YouTube video download tools, scraping tools for all sorts of stuff. And then all you have to do is define an agent that says you have access to these tools, ready, go. So when I ask you to do something, you are my general tool usage agent, and you're just going to intuit what I need, go. And then boom, It just does. So like, why would I? You can't do that with any of these LLMs, man. It's wild.
That's crazy. I think we're going to have to move this to the front of the video to hype things up a little bit. But I guess my last question for you would be, why should we pick VS Code instead of cursors? You said it's free, but I thought it is paid.
There is a paid version as well. This guy says, we're entering the DOS era of AI. So here's the difference. Claude Code exists in the terminal, and then the cursor and Windsurf, they are part of an IDE. I'm not even going to get into that. Just know it is one level above terminal, so it's separated slightly. Terminal gives full control, and you're right at the source. So what that means is cursor, for instance, they have an assumption that like, okay, you want to build a SaaS or you want to build a fully functioning tool. Well, at the terminal, the only assumption is you want answers and you want to execute something. So this guy, he says, but right now in this terminal phase, we're learning how AI actually creates. No app filtering the intent, no product manager assumptions, raw conversation and intelligence. The real bottleneck isn't technical knowledge anymore, it's your imagination. Last week, I spent 20 minutes describing an animation, not because Claude couldn't build it, but because I couldn't articulate what I saw in my head. DOS lasted 3 years, and those who mastered it built Microsoft, Oracle, and Adobe. Not from memorizing commands, but from understanding the substrate that everything would be built on. And this terminal phase will be even shorter. Most people see a black screen and think coding. I see the early glimpses of an AI computer. And that is why you should be in Claude Code.
Awesome. Good stuff, man. Yeah. I don't really know what to say to that. I mean, it's cool. I feel like I'm still just hit with like this, like a brick wall of like infinite possibility. And it's like, oh my God, like what are you even supposed to do? But I guess what I'll probably do is just get set up on VS Code with Claude Code and everything. And then the next time I'm doing something that's repetitive, I'll try to vibe code my way out.
Why not? I know. That's exactly it. Just try to operate in there more and more.
Well, Andrew, I appreciate you coming on and dumbing things down for us a bit over here and teaching us how we could, use vibe coding to our advantage and that it's not that hard to get started. Is there anything you want to say to leave people off with?
Yeah, so I'm opening a new school community. This one's going to be free. If you want a AI marketing one, I have a $40 one called Masterclass Marketing. It's like school.com/masterclass marketing. If you just Google my name, Andrew Ansley, you'll see all my socials and stuff. The new one, it'll be out at the end of September. I'm just going to create a community where these little tools that we build, where a screenshot thing, a scraper, we're going to have a community template thing we're going to try to build together, and we're going to try to build a repository of these things so that you can just like plug and play. I'm going to have competitions. As soon as I get enough people in the group, we'll have like paid contests and stuff. My whole goal is a 7-day challenge to get you in, and then we're going to start like going hard and making stuff. I've got 3 partners in this, so they are all vibe coders and highly successful business, much more successful than I am. So it's going to be very, very fun.
Awesome. Sounds good, man. Let's join Andrew and vibe code our way into riches. All right, guys, that is it for now. This was my first podcast on my new podcast series, which is going to be all over the shoulder, where the guests are actually showing us how to do something on their screen. So if you liked it, go ahead and give the video a like and my channel a sub. It helps me out a lot. Leave down in the comments who you want me to have on next. I've already got a huge list and some other podcasts I've already recorded, so stay tuned for that. I'm going to try to do about one a week, I think. But anyways, always like to have your input as well. All right, guys, see you next time. Bye-bye.